start with some good news from Metro Police, who located a 10-year-old girl reported missing last night in West Louisville. Police say Janiyah Hill was found at the Valero gas station on West Broadway and 15th Street just before 11:30 last night. Her family had reported her missing after getting off the school bus at 29th and Broadway, some 14 blocks away. Police said they did not issue an Amber Alert because there was no indication she'd been abducted. Well, passengers boarding flights out of Raleigh International this morning were delayed as much as 90 minutes after a pipe ruptured near the TSA screening area Wednesday. At first, the airport said it operated with 3 screening lanes and there were no major impacts to departing passengers. However, this morning there was quite a delay in opening the remaining 4 lanes due to the water issues, and this resulted in those extended wait times of nearly an hour and a half for a period of time. We are told everything was back to normal by 6:30 this morning. JCPS slashing nearly $100 million from its budget next year. Among the cuts are immediate athletics renovations for 6 high schools. Our Alex Dieterer and photojournalist Emma Gefter heard from staff and students who think the district dropped the ball.
When students at Butler walk onto the track at their high school, this is what they see. Faded lines, cracks. But that's not all. Patches of worn, dead grass here on the football field at Butler Traditional High School, which will now have to wait an additional year to be replaced by a turf field.
I feel like a lot of students at Butler particularly, they just feel forgotten most of the time.
Butler senior Jorge Bass Bautista. His school is one of 6 high schools in Jefferson County having their turf field construction delayed.
You see schools around us like PRP and other schools around us that get more funding, get more attention than Butler. And I feel like Butler, it deserves the same recognition, same respect.
Turf fields are just one of the areas feeling the impact of a $150 million budget cut over the next 2 years for the district. The delay alone cuts $8.5 million from the annual budget.
They were originally budgeted around $2.7 million per year, and now the costs are coming in at about $4.2.
Butler boys soccer head coach Mario Carrillo addressed the board Tuesday night before their unanimous decision to approve the budget.
That was a gut punch. It was even worse the next day when I told all 55 of my soccer players that we're not going to get what we were told we're going to get.
Butler head girls track coach Karen Henderson followed suit, blaming the track's cracks and condition on runners' injuries.
We have suffered hip injuries. We've got stress fractures, shin splints. My runners right now could not hardly run this past weekend because of shin splints. So
the track and field at Butler have been open since 1954. The track at Butler was last rehabbed in 2019. JCPS said in part, quote, "We're prioritizing capital construction funding for previously approved new schools, repairs and upgrades of school buildings with projects like replacing outdated HVAC systems and repairing roofs."
Why is it that Butler doesn't have all these resources, all this funding, when they've proven themselves that they have the students capable of achieving such greatness?
Jorge has spent his last day at Butler and is now moving on to study engineering at U of L, but wants to leave his now alma mater in good condition for the generations to come.
Just seeing the other underclassmen, you know, they have a bright future ahead of them, and I just want the best for them.
Hoping to level the playing field. In Louisville, Alex Dieterer, the WHAS11 night team on your side.
The plan now is for those projects to be completed by fall of 2027. JCPS is also moving forward with a cell phone ban for students throughout the school day, including lunch and in the hallways in between classes. A no phone policy is already in place at Fern Creek High School, which does the telecommunications free at the start of each school day. Students are issued a Yonder pouch, which works like a security tag. It can be opened by magnet or with safety scissors, which all teachers have on hand. Principal Rebecca Nicholas called the change transformative for her school.
The first kind of round of phone free is a lift. It's an effort from our teachers. So if they're taking their phones out at transitions, at lunch, at varying intervals, you have to do it again and again and again. If you're phone free from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, you implement the ban one time, and then you can get down to the business of teaching and learning, which is really what we all want to do.
Now, Linda Duncan was the only JCPS board member who voted against this ban at a board meeting Tuesday night. She told us she thinks the voices of parents were ignored in that decision.
They did a parent survey, and if you noticed, I've heard 2 numbers. One number I heard was 81% of her parents do not support a total ban. Ever since COVID, it's gone to almost a safety issue with them. They want instant contact with their kids.
That cell phone ban goes into effect next school year. JCPS has said each school will choose how to enforce it. Checking in with meteorologist Matt Breland. Did I hear this is going to be the hottest day so far of the year?
That's right, Brooke. Yeah, we're close to 90 degrees as we head later on into the afternoon. We're still fairly warm this afternoon, too. Now that we're just past 12 p.m., we're already in those lower 80s. We have winds out of the southwest at 10 miles per hour. That's a big factor in keeping us warm. We've been having those winds staying out of that direction for the last several days, and that's really been bringing in a lot of that moist air. Dew points are at 67 degrees, and that means that we're right closer to our actual temperature at 82. So anytime you see those two temperatures close together, it really leads to a muggy temperature profile. We've got those temperatures ranging in the lower 80s just around Louisville, just outside the city, though, there in southern Indiana. We're at Bedford, 79, 82 Scottsburg, 79 Madison, 76 for you folks and near Hodgenville. So definitely a warm afternoon ahead for us. Satellite and radar continuing to stay quiet. We just have a few passing clouds starting to make their way in from the east. We're going to see this sun and cloud mix as we head later on into the afternoon hours. And there's a few small chances for some brief isolated showers just as we head later into the evening time. But I want to mention that our highs today will be ranging between 88, 89, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of us even do see 90 degrees. As we head later on into our evening hours, those temperatures continue to stay in the 80s. It's going to remain fairly muggy, and that's going to be the setup for our stormy pattern as we head into Friday evening. Past 5 p.m., we're expecting severe thunderstorms to arrive across Kentuckiana, containing damaging winds, hail, and we're not ruling out the possibility of an isolated tornado threat as we go into our Friday evening. We're going to continue to keep you posted with this forecast. More details about this coming up here in just a few short minutes. Brooke?
Matt, thank you. President Donald Trump has finally approved individual assistance for more Kentucky counties affected by widespread April flooding, including Louisville. The new counties include Bullitt, Jefferson, Nelson, Oldham, Henry, Meade, and Grayson, along with LaRue, Trimble, and Carroll County. You know, Carrollton got hit really hard. The declaration officially unlocks funding through the Individual Assistance Program that allows people to receive reimbursement for essential expenses and serious needs not covered by insurance or other forms of aid. The move to develop a new apartment complex along the Ohio River in Madison, Indiana, is stirring up some controversy. The mayor and local business owners say that project will help with the city's growth, but a large group of residents say that space could be used for something else. Our Jose Alonso and photojournalist Aspen Hester share both perspectives in Madison.
Along the scenic border of Kentucky and southern Indiana sits an empty paved lot in historic Madison, Indiana. Mayor Bob Courtney says it's part of their redevelopment plan of their riverfront.
Until a few years ago when the city purchased the lot, it was a junkyard for about 20 some odd years. And then prior to that, the history of our riverfront has been industrial and commercial.
This is the city's vision for the lot, a new $15 million apartment complex standing 45 feet tall. The mayor calls it a moderate structure and says it'll address the needs of their growing city's housing options. Some residents are all in for this change.
We think that utilizing a lot or two that the city owned, to be able to do that and increase the tax base, we think it's kind of a win-win for the city.
But there's also disagreement in this river city. Some locals think there's better options besides apartments. Ed Stiegel was in Tuesday's Planning Commission meeting, which saw a large turnout of folks speaking against the new structure.
Some people have talked about using this area as a green space. Some people have talked about the idea of using it as an outdoor cafe. Some people have talked about possibly putting a labyrinth in.
The movement pushing this development forward was tabled at the request of the mayor to process feedback.
I applaud the mayor in that decision. I think that he made the right decision for our community.
One of the consistent issues we keep hearing about building on this vacant lot is how it could potentially block the view of the mighty Ohio River.
That was a huge issue. And the reason is that, as we talked about the past Riverfront Development Commission, they put a limit on the height because they recognized that they wanted everybody to be able to see the beauty of this riverfront area.
We know that that would be a tall structure here. And so as part of our compromise, we're looking at reducing the number of floors that this structure would be, and also being really thoughtful as to what other structures would come in behind this.
What could be the tallest building on Madison's riverfront is waiting in the waters of controversy. With photojournalist Aspen Hester, Jose Alonso, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
Now, the mayor said the city has secured $5.5 million in state grants for the entirety of the redeveloping of this riverfront. Another part of this project is building a permanent stage for the city's Bicentennial Park Amphitheater.